We probably got to get him on the track, J. Cole.
See, there it is. There's a shout out. J. Cole, if you're watching this video, we got to get you on Kelvin Joseph beats, man. There's no doubt that you can be better than me at making music and producing. So you would win that. You would win that for sure. What's up, everybody? Trevor Sikkema here, welcoming you back to another episode of our prospect interview series. I'm very, very excited for this episode because here with me, I have Kelvin Joseph, defensive back for Kentucky. Kelvin, my man, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Of course, man. Dude, how's training been? Before we get right into the questions, I'll just ask you kind of how you been, how's training, going through this process, starting things early, got the sights set on the NFL. It's been a long time coming, huh?
How you been too, bro? That's the question, how you been? Because I know it's a lot getting ready for the NFL draft, evaluating all these players. But for me, I just been taking it one day at a time. It's been a grind. It's been a motivation to me every day, just to motivate myself to get up every day, to get better, stronger, faster, physical, and just enjoy the process of the chance that I have to do now that I've never had before.
Man, you hear that? Hey, all right. I just want to make sure that all the prospects out there listen to that, because Kelvin asked me how I was doing for draft season. It's the first time any prospects ever asked me how I'm doing for draft season. So I appreciate that, man. I really do. It's draft season's a blast. It's a lot of fun. We get to sit down with some great guys like yourself. First question I got. I always love to take it back to the high school days, to recruiting. You were a big time recruit, man. And I remember when you were sitting down deciding, I remember correctly, you had the Auburn hat, Florida State, Alabama, LSU. You had all those hats on the table, which means that you did something. What'd you say?
I said there was a big four.
I know, man, which means you did something right. If you got all those hats on the table, you were doing something right. But something I loved learning when I was doing the digging on you is you started out being a stud on special teams. I remember your coaches talking about how fiery you were on special teams when you started playing ball with them. Was special teams work something that laid the groundwork for you to really become that coveted 4-star prospect that you were?
Yeah, like I took pride in every special team. Like my high school coach, he told me special people do special things on special teams. So I felt like I was always a special person, special player. So I just made special plays. And I wanted to be on special teams. I just took pride in what I do. Every time I touch the field, I had a chance.
Man, that's the most coach saying I've ever heard, but it's fantastic. Like, that's such a motivating thing that you hear from coaches. Also read up that you had in your high school career 13 either kick returns, punt returns, or interception returns for touchdown. That's some major ball production. And not just like you getting your hands on the ball, you taking it to the house, you getting 6. Tell me.
Felt like every time I touch the ball, it's like I got a scope in my head. I got a scope.
And I love that mentality. I'm sure a lot of coaches obviously love that mentality too. But I was gonna let you go there. But I'm asking, what makes a great takeaway artist? Like a defensive guy who goes and gets his hands on the ball. We talk about that all the time here with scouting. Like, you love guys who can get you turnovers. What makes a great takeover artist, as you have been in high school and in college?
We'll make a great takeover artist like Kelvin Joseph. Just me playing with my swagger, being mean, physical, toughness, taking pride in what I do, being the best man-to-man cornerback every time I step on the field versus in the receiver, making them feel uncomfortable, and me just playing my game how I'm supposed to and just letting the plays come to me and have fun with the game. And then I just have fun scoring, like in the end zone, catch interceptions.
Listen, when you're on defense, I mean, like you say, you played special teams a little bit. You've been in the end zone, so you know what that feels like. Like, not all defensive players know the joy of getting into the end zone, but you do. So it makes sense that you want to feel it again. How important is that confidence? Because, when we do scouting here, specifically, you want a lot of players to play with confidence, but I love my cornerbacks who play with an attitude. How important is that attitude for playing the cornerback position?
Yeah, playing the cornerback position, you have to have an attitude because, like they say, one play in and the next play you got to throw it out. Like you can't just focus on the good and you can't just focus on the bad. It's one play at a time, and you focus in on the little things, the technique, hand placement, the receiver, feet work, all that. It's just gonna make you a better player as you focus on the small little things. And I feel like focusing on them little small little things and techniques that took me a far away, and it helped me make a lot of plays in the game.
I read that your nickname is Fat. Now, how in the world does a 6 foot, 90 pound defensive back get a nickname Fat? I saw that your social media handle is Boss Man Fat. Like, where did this come from, man?
Yeah, fat was something just came away with my family when I was a baby. I came out like 10 pounds, big, and I was kind of chunky on the pictures. So they just called me Fat when I was younger, and it just really stuck with me. And once I got towards like middle school and high school, I added the boss man to it, so everybody just called me Boss Man Fat from then, and it just went.
That's funny. So you, I wish was your mom who was calling you fat when you were a kid? Because obviously you weren't calling yourself. That was it like your mom. Was
Yeah,
it,
like
who
my
was it?
mom, my whole family, like that's what they raised me on, calling me fat.
Then I mean, it only makes sense that you add the boss man to it. That goes back to the confidence that we just talked
Yeah,
about. Adding boss man right in front of the nickname. That's good. I
yeah,
also
just add a
noticed
little
that
more swag to it.
you have to add, you got to add swagger anywhere you possibly can. Speaking of that, and this does have to do with that. You've worn number one, feels like forever. Like in high school, I'm pretty sure I saw a picture of you wearing number one. You wore it at LSU. You wore it at Kentucky. What is it about the number one that you love so much?
Number one, it's the reason that I'm doing this for my brother, and he the number one reason that I go every day, that I get up every day and want to be better than what I am, because like I'm knowing that he'll be with me on side of me today if he is still alive. So I got to do this not just for me, for him, and for both of us together is one. It's one mission, one goal, and I got to make sure that I secure that for me and my family and for my little brother mostly.
I love hearing that, man. I mean, I that was one of the questions that I would ask you anyways, because you go over to your social media and you see all sorts of tributes to your brother, and it's clearly something that drives you, that gives you that motivation to be the best that you can be. And so I love hearing that, man. That's such a great backstory, and something that you can carry with throughout your career with his passing. Let's talk some pro ball. Okay. Let's talk about some of the guys that you love watching. Is there anybody in the NFL that you grew up watching? Because I know you played some safety too. So don't,
Yeah.
feel free to say some safeties. I know you're a defensive back and you kind of do it all there. There's some corners, there's some safeties that you really either loved watching when you were younger or that you've loved watching, kind of learning from their game over the last couple of years.
First off, I'm gonna start with Morris Claiborne, Pat P, just some LSU legends I grew up watching.
Yeah.
Uh, 25 Howard from the Miami. I like his game.
Yeah. Zaven. Yeah.
And just on safeties, I'm gonna speak on Tyron Matthew and Jamal Adams. They make a lot of plays in the game, and I'm not just saying from LSU guys. It's just somebody I study because they good at their craft and they're the best at their craft on the next level. Tre'Davious White, Jalen Ramsey, like they top two in what they do. There's them them type of guys that I focus on and try to put my game and mix their game with mine and make it a little better.
You talking about some of the best in the game, no doubt.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Going back to that confidence too, I remember interviewing Xavier Howard a couple of years ago, and I was asking about where he got drafted, and he could actually name all of the corners who were drafted ahead of him. Like he carried that chip on his shoulder, and you can tell. I mean, like I can definitely see some Xavier Howard, and even the way that you're talking about the corner position. So that I think that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, when I've been watching your tape, I've been noticing that you're not afraid of some of that press coverage. You're not afraid of getting in guys' face, playing man, putting your back to the ball. What does it take to be a good press corner? Because we hear about that all the time. Hey, The NFL loves guys who can play press, who can play in man. What makes a good press corner, and what makes you good at it?
What makes a good press corner and what make me good at it? I feel like I'm physical, I'm tough, I'm not scared. Every play I'm gonna compete for the ball. I'm not gonna let the receiver just make a play on the ball. I wanna make the play. The ball in the air is mine. I'm coming down with it. I don't believe in 50-50 chances ball. I feel like every time it's in the air is mine. And every time it's just learning. It's about learning from your mistakes, like throwing out the small play, like I said, just one play at a time. And knowing your technique, knowing what's finna happen before it happens.
Speaking of that technique, one other, kind of football specific question I wanted to ask you before we get to a couple of fun ones is, what's something that you've learned, let's say over the last couple of years? Could have been at LSU, could have been at Kentucky. What's like a technique or a style about your game? What's something that you've learned over the last couple of years that's been great for you? Maybe it's like hand placement or timing or how to look for the ball or something like that. What's something that you've learned that you've really been able to elevate your game with?
My key things that I focus on, I was focusing on, still focused on being patient, turning around for the ball, and keep on making plays, and not letting the receivers make a play on me. That's gonna be my main focus. That's gonna get me through my technique. Being patient, that's my technique. That's gonna get me there. Turning around, locating the ball, that's me. That's gonna get me paid. So it's just on me to make my play, because my technique is what I do. So it's on me to be patient.
No doubt about that either. All right, so when I was going through your social media, I noticed that you got a saying that you continually say throughout the whole time. Is the vibe. You know the vibe. You got the hashtag in there. You say it all the time, whether it's a football picture or not. Who came up with that? Is that a saying that you kind of came up with, or what was the motivation towards saying that all the time?
You know the vibe. That's something me and my bro Javante Smart came up with in high school. He was playing AAU, and I was playing 7-on-7. That's when it really started. And then that's when it just ran off for real. We have a lot of teammates, a lot of fan base, and once it got around that, the vibe. You better know the vibe. Like, if you my fan, you gotta know the vibe. Because if you don't know the vibe, you must not be a real fan of Kelvin Joseph or Javante Smart.
You turned into a lifestyle, man. You took a phrase and you turned into a lifestyle.
Yeah, it's pretty much a lifestyle now. We living by the vibe. So it's just a vibe. We vibing right every time.
All right, last question for me. This is one that I've asked all the people who have come on this show, all the prospects. We got $1,000 on the line. Not actually. This is hypothetical. We're not actually $1,000, but let's say there's $1,000 on the line. You got to beat me at something that's not football related. Can be like video games, can be like reciting lyrics, can be like karaoke, cooking, car racing, something. Like, what's something that you do on the side outside of football that you're good at?
My football, outside of football, besides being my family, I like to make music. So music got an interest in me. Yeah.
What do you like?
I like.
Are you you behind the microphone guy? Like, you like producing? Do you like making beats, or do you like being in front of the microphone?
Well, right now I'm behind the microphone, so I'm making a lot of songs. But in the future, I hope to be making beats to where I'm just sending beats out to artists and they just getting on my songs. Getting on my beats and making money that way. Focusing on football. Football my main focus right now. So that's the road I'm taking.
That's good. That's good, man. All right. So now I have to ask, like, who are some of your favorite artists? Like, who are you listening to? Who do you love listening to? Like, who's getting you pumped up? Who's giving you inspiration? Who's some of the people you're listening to?
I listen to first, number one, the real Young Boy. Then I'm gonna
of course, man.
Then I'm gonna go with No Cap. He nice. Quando Rondo and Lil Boosie. You already know he got to give you the hype.
Of course.
Then I listen to J. Cole just to calm down and just chill and get in my settle down because J. Cole, he talk a lot about what's going on in the real, just in a positive manner besides the up-tempo. It's just something that's going to calm you down, get you through your day.
J. Cole feels like a the vibe guy. Like J. Cole feels like he could be in your little circle of like he feels like he could be in that little circle with you guys. That's a good mix. That's a good mix there.
We probably got to get him on the track, J. Cole.
See, there it is. There's a shout out. J. Cole, if you're watching this video, we got to get you on Kelvin Joseph beats, man. There's no doubt that you could be better than me at making music and producing. So you would win that. You would win that for sure. Kelvin, I really appreciate you popping on with me, man. Best of luck in the training before the NFL draft, where you're going, your next destination, and how you do as a pro, man. Really appreciate you coming on with us.
Thank y'all for having me, bro. Good luck with y'all too, bro.
That was Kelvin Joseph, Kentucky defensive back. If you enjoyed this prospect interview, we got a lot more coming throughout draft season over at the Draft Network's YouTube channel. And of course, if you haven't been over to the draftnetwork.com in a while, you got to check it out. We're doing all kinds of mock drafts. The scouting staff is filling out their final reports on guys. Of course, TDN premium people, they get it all and they get it even better. So make sure you sign up for TDN premium, checking out all that stuff over at the draftnetwork.com.